June 2024. Saudi Arabia will not renew the 50-year petrodollar deal with the United States. 50 years. Half a century of American dominance. The invisible empire that made the dollar the world's reserve currency. The system that forced every country to buy American dollars just to purchase oil. The deal that turned America's currency into the world's currency. And now, it's over. Saudi Arabia is trading oil in Chinese yuan. China, Russia, India, Brazil, they are building a new currency. Central banks are buying gold at record levels. Something is happening. A war is being fought. Not with bombs. Not with soldiers. With currency. And most people have no idea. Petrodollar systems collapse. The war you don't see. This is not about oil. This is about power. And when the petrodollar dies, everything changes.
It is 1973. The United States is in crisis. The Vietnam War has drained the economy. President Nixon has just abandoned the gold standard. For the first time in history, the dollar is backed by nothing. Not gold, not silver, just trust. And trust is fragile. Then, in October 1973, Arab nations launched an oil embargo in retaliation for U.S. support of Israel during the Yom Kippur War. Oil prices quadrupled. Gas stations ran dry. The American economy nearly collapsed. Lines stretched for miles. People waited hours just to fill their tanks. This was the oil shock, and it revealed America's greatest weakness: dependence on foreign oil. But out of crisis came opportunity. In 1974, U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger traveled to Saudi Arabia. He made King Faisal an offer, a deal that would reshape the global order. The terms were simple. Saudi Arabia would sell its oil only in U.S. dollars. In exchange, the United States would provide military protection, sell advanced weapons, and guarantee the survival of the Saudi regime. Other OPEC nations followed, and just like that, the petrodollar was born. Here is why this mattered. If you wanted to buy oil, you needed dollars. If you needed dollars, you had to trade with America. And if you traded with America, you strengthened the dollar. Overnight, the dollar became the world's reserve currency. Not because it was backed by gold, but because it was backed by oil, the most valuable commodity on earth. Every country needed energy, and energy required dollars. This created a permanent demand for the U.S. currency. Even if America printed trillions, the world still needed dollars, because the world still needed oil. This was the invisible empire, not built on military bases, but on currency and dependency. And for 50 years, it worked.
The petrodollar did not just make the dollar strong, it gave America something no empire had ever possessed: the ability to print money without consequence. Here is how it worked. When Saudi Arabia sold oil to China, China paid in dollars. Saudi Arabia then took those dollars and bought U.S. Treasury bonds. This was called petrodollar recycling. Saudi oil money flowed back into the U.S. financial system, funding American debt, keeping interest rates low, allowing the U.S. government to spend far beyond its means. This was not an accident. It was the design. The petrodollar created a closed loop. Oil producers earned dollars, and dollars returned to America. No matter how much the Federal Reserve printed, global demand absorbed it, because every country still needed dollars to buy oil. This gave America extraordinary privileges. The U.S. could run massive trade deficits indefinitely. It could borrow trillions at low interest rates. It could sanction any country by cutting off dollar access. And it could finance its military across 150 countries. All because the world needed its currency. This was the exorbitant privilege, a term coined by French officials in the 1960s. America could export inflation, while other countries absorbed the cost. But there was a darker side, because the petrodollar was not optional. If a country refused to sell oil in dollars, America responded. In the year 2000, Saddam Hussein announced Iraq would sell oil in euros. 3 years later, the U.S. invaded. In 2009, Muammar Gaddafi proposed a gold-backed African currency to replace the dollar for oil trade. 2 years later, NATO intervened. Gaddafi was killed. The pattern was clear. Challenge the petrodollar and face consequences. This was not about democracy. This was about the dollar. Because if the world stopped needing dollars for oil, the entire system would collapse.
For 50 years, the petrodollar seemed untouchable. But empires do not last forever. And by 2010, cracks began to appear. China became the world's largest oil importer, surpassing the United States. But China did not want to keep buying dollars. It wanted to use its own currency, the yuan. In 2011, China and Russia began conducting bilateral trade in their own currencies, bypassing the dollar entirely. This was the beginning of de-dollarization. In 2016, China launched the Shanghai International Energy Exchange, allowing oil to be traded in yuan, backed by gold. This was a direct challenge to the petrodollar. Then, in 2018, Europe created Instex, a payment system designed to bypass US dollar sanctions on Iran. Even America's closest allies were building alternatives. And in 2022, Russia was cut off from the SWIFT banking system. The West weaponized the dollar. But Russia did not collapse. Instead, it pivoted, selling oil and gas to China and India in rubles and yuan. The sanctions accelerated de-dollarization because the world realized, if the US can freeze your assets, cut off your banks, and destroy your economy with a keystroke, the dollar is a weapon. And weapons create enemies.
June 9th, 2024. Saudi Arabia quietly announced it would not renew the petrodollar agreement. For the first time since 1974, oil could be sold in currencies other than the dollar. The mainstream media barely covered it. But this was a geopolitical earthquake. Why did Saudi Arabia break the deal? Several reasons. First, China is now Saudi Arabia's largest customer. Beijing wants to pay in yuan. Second, Saudi Arabia is joining BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Nations representing 45% of the global population. And they are building a new currency. Third, Saudi Arabia sees the future. And the future is not dollar-dominated. The Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, is hedging, building ties with China, securing trade with Russia, diversifying away from American dependency. Because empires do not last. And when they fall, you do not want to be on the wrong side. But the most important reason is trust. For 50 years, America guaranteed Saudi security. But after Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, the Saudis no longer believe America will protect them. They watched the U.S. abandon allies, weaponize the dollar, and print trillions, devaluing the currency. The deal was based on trust. And the trust is gone.
As the petrodollar weakens, alternatives are rising. The most significant is BRICS. Originally 5 nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now expanding to include Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, Iran, Ethiopia. Together, they represent 45% of the global population, 35% of global GDP, and over 50% of oil production. BRICS is not just a political alliance. It is building an alternative financial system. In 2023, they announced plans for a BRICS currency, backed by gold and commodities, designed to rival the dollar. This is not a distant future. Meetings are happening. Infrastructure is being built. And unlike the dollar, this currency would not be controlled by one nation. Then there is the yuan. China has been slowly internationalizing its currency. The Shanghai Oil Exchange now trades billions in yuan. China has currency swap agreements with over 40 countries. And the digital yuan is being tested globally. China is not trying to replace the dollar overnight. It is building the alternative. So when the dollar finally weakens, the yuan is ready. But the oldest alternative is also returning: gold. Central banks are buying gold at record levels. China, Russia, India, Turkey, all dramatically increasing their gold reserves. Why? Because gold cannot be printed. It cannot be sanctioned. And it has been a store of value for 5,000 years. When trust in currencies
collapses. Gold survives.
So, what happens when the petrodollar dies? The consequences will be catastrophic for the United States. First, demand for the dollar collapses. Without the petrodollar, countries no longer need to hold dollars in reserve. They sell U.S. Treasury bonds. They dump their dollar holdings. The dollar weakens. And when the dollar weakens, everything imported to America becomes expensive. Electronics, cars, food, energy. Inflation explodes. Second, the U.S. can no longer borrow cheaply. For 50 years, petrodollar recycling capped U.S. interest rates low. But without Saudi Arabia buying treasury bonds, interest rates must rise dramatically. The U.S. government currently owes $36 trillion. If interest rates double, debt payments become unsustainable. The government faces a choice: cut spending massively, or print money and cause hyperinflation. Third, American military power shrinks. The U.S. military is funded by debt enabled by the petrodollar. Without it, America cannot afford 800 military bases in 150 countries. Bases close, influence fades. And finally, the global order shifts. For 80 years, America has been the dominant superpower, not because of its military, but because it controlled the reserve currency. When that ends, a new world emerges, multipolar, decentralized, where power is not concentrated in Washington, but distributed across Beijing, Moscow, Riyadh, New Delhi. This is not the end of America, but it is the end of American dominance.
Here is what most people do not understand. A war is already happening. Not with tanks, not with bombs, with currency. China is buying oil in Yuan. Russia is demanding payment in rubles. BRICS is building a gold-backed currency. The European Union is pushing the digital euro. And America is fighting back. When Russia invaded Ukraine, the West froze $600 billion of Russian reserves. This was financial warfare, but it backfired because the world saw what America can do. Freeze your money, seize your assets, destroy your economy with no trial, no warning, just power. And now, everyone is preparing. Central banks are buying gold. Countries are trading in local currencies. BRICS is accelerating because the lesson is clear. If you depend on the dollar, you are vulnerable. This is the war you do not see on the news, but it is the most important war of the 21st century, because when it ends, the world order that has existed since World War II will be over. 1974. Henry Kissinger made a deal. 50 years later, that deal is over. The petrodollar gave America unlimited power, the ability to print money without consequence, to borrow without limit, to dominate without rivals. But empires built on debt and dependency do not last forever. Saudi Arabia has moved on. China has its own plan. BRICS is rising, and gold is returning. The war for reserve currency has already begun, and most people have no idea